Hey guys, welcome back to your Daily Dose. Today we're talking about The Oval, Season 2, Episode 6. So this episode starts off with Priscilla in Jason's bedroom. She's looking under the bed and Jason pops up behind her asking her what she's doing. So she says to him that she is here to finish cleaning up his room, and they get into conversation about the fact that she's doing it because Jean is missing. Jason seems to handle the conversation really calm, which is kind of wild considering this murdering thing is supposed to be new to you, but apparently it's not. So he says to Priscilla that, she's missing. Maybe she has some issues with her boyfriend, and Priscilla asks how he knows that, and he basically says that when his sister was in her trunk, or Jean's trunk, when she was trying to get out of the White House, she overheard a conversation that she was having with her boyfriend. So this is the second time that someone's mentioned Jean's boyfriend being somewhat contentious. So we'll see what that amounts to in the future. I still hope that more people find out that she died because of Jason. Any case, Jason starts to pull the privileged, entitled, powerful family card and says, I'm the president's son, you shouldn't be questioning me, when she really is just asking you legitimate questions about someone who you're around and isn't questioning you as if you're guilty. She just wants to get information. Anyway, so Jason plays off the fact that Priscilla says that he liked Jean. He played that off, said it wasn't true. He says again that his room is clean and that maybe she should go. She agrees, but said it still has a faint smell. Any idea what that could be? He blames it on dirty clothes, and then Priscilla just heads straight into the bathroom. Then we get into the next scene with the First Lady in the hallway of the residence, where they seem to have a couch. It seems to be like a meeting area from time to time. So anyway, she's there. The First Lady is there sitting, and Sam walks up and she asks him to sit down, which is unusual. It seems unprofessional because it seemed that he was hesitant to do it. It's like if you're sitting, you're taking a break, or you're off the clock, or you're standing and you're alert and you're at attention. Okay, so Sam offers the First Lady his condolences because he heard that her mom died. She says that she's planning the funeral because her father doesn't want to do it. They get through that conversation, and the First Lady asks about Yuma and if he heard what happened. He says that he does, but doesn't necessarily believe it. In any case, the First Lady needs someone on her team. I think she mentions this before to him, but she's bringing it up again and is saying that she wants him to do it. And he's saying that he has a team of 17 people. It's not that easy for him to just leave that behind and come and work with her. Sam, I expect to do better. It's either you are faithful to your wife, you had this hiccup and you are sorry and you're not going to get mixed up with this woman again, or you are really soft and weak and you're just going to play defense, which is not cool. We'll go back into Jason's room, and he's in there talking to Priscilla, again trying to get her to get out, giving her more details about Jean and her boyfriend being violent to her, and says that his sister would have more details and that Priscilla should ask his sister. But we all know that the sister is not available. A couple episodes ago, when she got off the plane after the incident, she was taken from the airport by the grandparents folks to go be taught a lesson. So Priscilla is going to have an interesting time getting a hold of her. Anyway, Priscilla actually was taking that bait, but Jason is team do too much. So as she was about to walk out the room, he puts his hands on both of her arms and says to her to get out of his room, pretty please. It just seemed so unnecessary and gave Priscilla like a crazy vibe, almost like a violent vibe, because you can't keep your hand to yourself. But in any case, she obliges and leaves. And when she walks out into the hallway, she sees who? the First Lady and her husband sitting on the couch having a conversation. They acknowledge Priscilla, but the First Lady seems to be toying with her because she understands that Priscilla knows that something is up. Priscilla is uncomfortable with it, but the First Lady is enjoying it because she knows that Priscilla can't do anything to her. So the conversation goes from discussing being in her son's room with him, cleaning up, mentioning Jean. The First Lady calls her a maid, and Priscilla corrects her and says housekeeping. And then the First Lady goes, no, you would know, or you should know, that a housekeeper is a maid. And then she starts taking orders. She asks Priscilla for some tea, and then asks Sam if he wants anything. Priscilla is actually the one to ask Sam if he wants anything because he is sitting down. He looks awfully comfortable for someone who is on the clock. But the First Lady is like, girl, are you bothered by this? And yeah, actually, she should be bothered by this because it's unprofessional. But anyway, the First Lady continues to play with her a bit and says that she should bring Sam a beer or tequila or something like that, which lets me know that the First Lady has no interest in Sam actually doing his job, because if you wanted someone around you protecting you, you wouldn't be trying to get them tipsy. As Priscilla walks away, Sam looks like he wants to take that as an exit to leave himself, but the First Lady holds him down so that they can talk a little bit longer. Back at Nancy's house, she somehow finds a pregnancy test in the trash can in the kitchen, and she calls Barry and asks him why he wouldn't tell her that he and Shannon are expecting. And obviously, Nancy, he doesn't know. Anyway, he comes in and he says just that, and he basically, the natural things run through his mind, like, she doesn't want me to know because the baby's not his. But Nancy says that it is his baby because Sharon loves him. And then, of course, Barry takes the dig and says, well, does love keep you faithful because you stepped out on Dad? Nancy checks him and tells him, she's not going to take too much more of the disrespect from him. He tries to run out the door to go meet with Sharon and talk to her about this, but Nancy knows that it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea because if you go to that store and see Sharon with Kareem, you're going to be pissed and something may happen. If you go to that store and Kareem sees Sharon with you, he may get pissed and something may happen. So leave it alone and wait till she comes home, and hopefully at the end of the day, she looks for jobs in other pharmacies, so this love triangle can basically stop. So Nancy tries to stop him from doing that by saying that she needs to go to the funeral home to work on his cousin Picky's funeral. And Barry says he doesn't have time for that. He needs to go talk to Sharon. Nancy begs him, and he says that he'll do it when he comes back. Nancy again pleads with him to do it now, and he goes, listen, are we really playing this game? First of all, he's not my cousin, he's my brother, right? And then Nancy, again, you got one more time for this disrespect. I'm really ready for her to just pop him one good time. Hopefully that'll teach him a lesson, because he's been disrespecting her from the start of this show. By the end of the conversation with his mother, he also realizes that another reason that Sharon didn't tell him that she was pregnant is because she may be thinking about getting an abortion. So that thought alone too made him really want to go run and talk to her. So he leaves his mom in the house and says that he'll come back. In the next scene, you see Fast Richard over there with the fast housekeeper. They're in the kitchen flirting when Priscilla walks in. Priscilla excuses the maid and tells her that she needs to get to work and starts to talk to Richard and reminds him that he has a wife at home. Richard starts to question her and says, I know you know what happened between us. And Priscilla says she does, but doesn't understand why he's acting this way. Richard also asks Priscilla if she knows who the father is, and Priscilla's like, no, I don't, she wouldn't tell me. And he makes her promise to find out and let him know. I mean, this is a real obsession with him. I'm not really understanding why, and I hope that this fixation of trying to figure out who the father is revealed soon. If you have a clue, please drop down in the comment section below and let me know, like, because this seems to go beyond like my wife cheated on me a long time ago and won't tell me who the father is. It seems to go a little bit deeper than that. So in the next scene, we have Kyle pulling up to Donald's house with some more of his stuff. I found that hilarious. Like, he's just pushing himself into the situation and pushing himself into Donald's house. Like, yes, Donald likes you. He likes having you around. But I feel like he gave Kyle an inch and Kyle's now taking a mile. But you can tell on the phone when Kyle was saying, I'm at your house and dropping things off, Donald just seemed a little off about it, like uncomfortable. Like, this is moving too fast. But in any case, they hang up the phone. Kyle says that I will talk to you later. When Kyle walks into the house, he hangs up the phone, and who's in the house? Lily, doing her stylist thing on a dummy, putting together an outfit, and says, was that my husband you were just on the phone with? And Kyle walks in and was a little surprised, like, what are you doing here? And Lily says, I decided to come back. This house is half mine. Half of everything that we built together is half mine. I'm not just going to let you take it or leave it alone and leave it all behind. So long story short, she packed up all of Kyle's stuff that he had left there over the few days that Lily has been at that cabin and put it in a garbage bag, and promptly told him that he could take the stuff he brought in and the stuff in his garbage bag and go somewhere else. Kyle leaves pissed because really and truly there's nothing that he can do, right? She hasn't told anybody anything that they know of. This is her property. She is back home. I'm pretty sure there's a camera somewhere recording her being peaceful and happy. Maybe this conversation is being recorded too. Who knows? But he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because he wanted to kill her. And if he had found her wherever she was outside of this home, then he probably would have. But the fact that she came back home was basically her trump card. So anyway, Kyle gathers his stuff and leaves and tries to call Donald, but he's unavailable because he's in with the president. The president is having like a mini meltdown, right? He's sad about Denise and just the state of everything going on in his life right now with his son. And Donald's trying to kind of lift his spirits a little bit, but also try to get him to do some work, right? If you remember at the end of last season, Diane told the world that this president hasn't done any work since he's been in office. So Donald is trying to get him to do some of that and said that, listen, let's start having these meetings and assigning people to different cabinet positions. Let's do that. And the president basically tells Donald to F off and calls Ellie into his office. So Ellie walks in and the president forces Donald out. Donald leaves and Ellie sits down and is talking to the president, and he just unzips his pants in a really rude way and basically tells her to get to work. And she's like, no, I told you that if we were to do this, it was going to be on my terms. And he goes, are you serious? And she goes, yeah. So then he tries to belittle her and say, you know, you think you earned this position, that type of thing, and then mixes up her name and calls her Lily. Just being completely rude. And then Donald busts back in, very badass, which I can appreciate, and basically tells Ellie to leave, you'll thank me for it later, and forces the president to get up and get some work done. And he actually does. He finally gets off his behind and follows Donald out the room into the meetings that were scheduled for that day so that he can get work done. So then Ellie's walking down the hallway and then Alan pulls her into an office. And he's again berating her about her relationship with the president and basically telling her that he doesn't really like her, just using her for sex, that type of thing. And she's telling him that she knows and that he's just jealous that somebody else wants her. I am confused about what's going on between them two, because Ellie is saying things to push him away, but her facial expressions and part of her body language kind of tells me that they may end up back together. And Alan seems kind of crazy. Well, he is crazy. The night before he hit her, that morning he threatened her, took her phone, that type of thing. In this conversation, he's trying to belittle her and make her feel like he's the only one that wants her and loves her. And then when none of that works, he finally decides to be the good guy and say, can we sit and talk through this? And I'm kind of glad that she walked away, because it's like, sitting and talking through it should have been the first thing you did, not the last thing you did, you know? Anyway, she tells him no and walks off. So next we get Sam sitting with the First Lady. She's still there wasting his time. He's still allowing his time to be wasted. Anyway, she's wondering where her tea's at. He says that he's going to go check on it. And she's again throwing herself at him. And I'm just, oh, Sam, do better, do better, do better. In any case, he runs off to go check on the tea. And he's really trying to check Priscilla, make sure she didn't do anything to it. When he goes into the kitchen, she's not there, neither is the tea. But Richard's there and he's cleaning plates. So he asks Richard to make a new set of tea, and so that he could take it up to the First Lady himself. In the next scene, you see Kyle busting into Donald's office to tell him that his wife is back home. Kyle says that he wanted to kill her but didn't, and Donald asks why, and Kyle says that she clearly has help, right? She can't completely disappear off everyone's radar for a few days and just pop back up okay as if nothing happened without help. So he's thinking that it's someone in the DOJ or the FBI, and Donald is telling him to calm down, because if it was, then he would know. So right then, Alan busts in and says, your wife is on the phone. Donald takes the call and she asks Donald, how are you doing? And he goes, well, I should be asking you that. So she says that she's good and she's home. She won't tell anybody anything. She doesn't want to lose everything that they've built together. And that she only has 2 conditions. The first condition is that Kyle can't be around her at all. And the second condition is Donald stops helping her with her fashion career, because it's the only thing she has and she really doesn't want it, I guess, polluted. He says all of that is fine and that they would discuss everything later on over a glass of wine when he gets home. After that, he says, I love you. And she says, I love you too, and it pisses me off, which is a nice touch. I don't know whether or not she does still love him, though. I know she has feelings for Bobby, but does she still love her husband? She seemed to really love him at the start of this whole thing, right? But do you really just fall out of love right away? And the same thing with Donald, right? I feel like he has feelings for her. I just don't think that he's attracted to her. Anyway, he hangs up the phone and Kyle is not having it. On top of being jealous that his wife is back and he won't have access to his man the way that he wants to, he just doesn't trust it. He still thinks that Lily is trying to set Donald up. She has help from somewhere, but he can't figure out from where. And Donald really is just like, listen, calm down. She's good. She's not going to talk. She's on our team. And he gets up and kisses Kyle. And at that same time, Alan walks in on them, and that's where the episode ends. So I don't think anything's really going to come of that, because Alan, like Ellie, knows how to play the game. So that's all I have for The Oval Season 2, Episode 6. Let me know what you think of this episode in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, and please, please, please subscribe to my channel. Until next time, peace.